And that whilst your purpose
that you've signed up to and we share together is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness.
What I'm going to be sharing with you today is how to build professional credibility and establish thought leadership on LinkedIn. Like I've said, I'm super excited to be here. My name is Dr. Gloria Edozien, and I'm a LinkedIn visibility coach. What I do is I help mid to senior level career women and executives build visibility, professional credibility, and establish thought leadership on and off LinkedIn. So what is a LinkedIn visibility coach? It's not something you really go to school for. So what is a LinkedIn visibility coach? So to explain that, I always tell people this short story. So I have a friend, her name is Bumi, and this is a true story. This story is actually called A Tale of Three Women, right? So the first woman is Bumi. Bumi is my friend. I've known her for a very long time. She works in the fintech sector, and she's also an investor in fintech products. And recently there was an opportunity she was trying to apply for, a high-level international opportunity she was trying to apply for. And she had issues applying for it. First things first, a list of top influencers in her sector was released. Her name was not there, but let's just say, okay, that's fine. When she was applying for this opportunity, they asked her a series of questions. The first one they asked her was, do you have some people, high net worth individuals or high people in your sector that can endorse you? Her answer was no. Why? Because she did not have access. Have you been featured in the news? Have you published any articles anywhere? Her answer again was no. The next question they asked her, she said, Gloria, this was so painful. They asked her, do you attend events as speaker? Her answer again was no. So she has the experience, she's been doing great work, launched fintech products, great work, but she had been working hard in silence, so she didn't have anybody to vouch for her. She didn't have anything to vouch for her. Now, I want to contrast my friend Bumi with a few other people. So the first person is one of my clients, Edozien. Edozien is a senior health policy advisor in Nigeria's government. Now, Edozien is what I call a visibility queen. She's been flying, like one of her articles was even picked up by the Harvard University School of Public Health. She's been featured in Devex, which is one of the foremost publishers in the development sector. And also she's regularly on TVC News, everywhere, like she's just everywhere, like everywhere that requires her to be for the kind of brand that she's trying to attract. And she was even recently, a few months ago, she was given a high-level appointment as well. The next person that I want to tell you about is another client. Her name is Oyinda. She's a private wealth management expert. And what she said is she's been using LinkedIn now, and she's had people reach out to her for speaking engagements, requesting her expert opinion on subject matters, and she's gradually becoming known as a thought leader in her industry. Again, another friend of mine who I helped spruce up her LinkedIn profile, told her to do a few things. Within a couple of weeks, she was contacted, being invited to join an online HR roundtable with heavy hitters in HSBC, Shell, Unilever, and GSK. And she's like, Glory, not even a week after sprucing off my LinkedIn page, you've got the magic touch. Another of my clients was invited via LinkedIn to apply for an accelerator program in Silicon Valley. In fact, she's going to start the program next year. She got into the program. So this is what LinkedIn can do for you. It positions you as an expert. It changes the conversation where you are the one constantly seeking for opportunity and changes it so that you are being sought after, right? It brings you speaking opportunities and features. I know I have many clients and I know many people who, by the strength of them contributing on LinkedIn, they've been invited to write for This Day, Vanguard, Punch, all the newspapers and dailies that we read, right? It makes you top of mind to stakeholders, decision makers, and influencers, right? So that when speaking opportunities arise, especially paid speaking opportunities, you are one of the first to know about it, right? It connects you with decision makers. In fact, research shows that more and more C-suite executives are reading content on LinkedIn. One of my friends recently, I was telling her, look, all this your content that you're sharing on Instagram, bring it to LinkedIn. Within a few weeks, the CEO of a top financial institution reached out to her and left his number in her DM on LinkedIn. I was like, please call me. I need to speak with you, right? So really, it builds a global brand and also offers you opportunities for international collaborations. So based on that, this is what LinkedIn can do for you. Based on that, what are we going to learn today? I'm going to share with you 6 key things. The first is the true power of LinkedIn, which I guess by now you're already getting, right? And what it can do for your speaker brand. Mistakes you'll be making on your LinkedIn profile that is preventing you from being visible. I'll also be showing you how to perform a LinkedIn audit to measure your visibility. My tips for building a network, how to demonstrate competency on LinkedIn, and a one-stop solution to help you achieve all these things. So my first question, a lot of people say, why should I bother? Okay, Gloria, I'm on Instagram already. I'm already on social media. Why should I bother? LinkedIn has well over 600 million users. In fact, the number is about 700 plus million users. In Nigeria, we have over 5 million users on LinkedIn. And a staggering amount of those users are C-level executives, right? In fact, 90% of recruiters say they use LinkedIn. So what does that mean? It means that in the entire world, LinkedIn is the largest professional network. No other platform, conference, WhatsApp group can give you the leverage LinkedIn can for your speaker brand, for your career, whatever professional goals you have, even for your business, right? Because it helps you build a global network, market your skills as a professional, helps you get told about opportunities before they become public, positions you for paid opportunities, both speaking and consulting, and also for features as well. So how do you get from point A to point B, right? Where you have a burgeoning speaker brand, your professional credibility and recognition is not yet that well known, no thought leadership, but you are filled with knowledge and expertise. To point B, right? Where you are a recognized professional, sought after speaker with thought leadership and influence, right? How do you get there? Before I tell you, I just want to explain what visibility is, right? Because a lot of times people think visibility is about just being everywhere. But the way I teach it, visibility is the art of letting people know what you are capable of and your impact as a professional. So it is not about fame. So I'm not talking about fame here when I'm talking about going from point A to point B, right? It's about being seen in the right way by the right people, right? So that people know about the value you can add as a professional as well as a speaker, right? So how do you leverage LinkedIn to build that speaker brand? Before I go on, I want to ask a few questions. And I'd like you to write this in the chat. How many people here are proud of their LinkedIn profiles? Just let me know if you're proud of your LinkedIn profile. Do you believe your profile demonstrates your true capability as a speaker? Is it just a digital CV holder? And when was the last time you updated your profile? So I'm just going to come here to the chat. Please just let me know, are you proud of your LinkedIn? When was the last time you went? When was the last time? Yeah, okay, so let me just open. I can see people and say, okay. Let's see what people are saying. March 2020, okay. I'm a little proud, okay. I don't have LinkedIn. Okay. In fact, we are just starting. 1/10, okay. 65% open but never understood it. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's keep going. So let me ask you, which house would you, it's Friday night, which house would you like to spend the weekend in? House A or house B? House A or house B? Which house would you like to spend the weekend? In fact, I don't even need to look at the chat. Of course, it's house A. In house A, you can already imagine the breakfast, the way the sheets will be. House B, you don't even want to use the bathroom. Like, you don't even want to enter the sitting room, right? Now, just as quickly as you made that decision, that is how somebody is making a decision on your LinkedIn profile. It takes only 5 to 10 seconds to impress a potential decision maker online, right? So how do you impress? How do you take your LinkedIn profile from a house A to a house B? It's by reducing these mistakes. And I'm going to take each of these mistakes in turn. The first is when you have an incomplete profile, right? And I'll explain that. not future-proofing your profile. A lot of people create LinkedIn profiles for the job they have. My advice is you create a LinkedIn profile for the job you want, not for the one you have, because you already have the opportunity, right? What you are looking for is future opportunities. You need to make your LinkedIn a resource using buzzwords instead of keywords. So there are words that sound sweet to us, but really they don't get you found on LinkedIn, right? Not showcasing the depth of your experience, especially when you are seeking certain types of opportunities. So let's look at each of these in turn. So the first one is a complete LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn users with complete profiles are 40 times, not 2 times, not 3 times, 40 times more likely to receive opportunities through LinkedIn, right? So how do you know if you have a complete profile? So if you go on your LinkedIn profile today and you see something like this, a dashboard, and you see all star, it means your profile is complete. If you go and you see something like this, profile strength with a barometer saying next, or add skills, add something, you know that your profile is not complete and you have to follow these prompts in order to complete your profile, right? But then it's not just about having a LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn is garbage in, garbage out. If you put rubbish in LinkedIn, you will not be finding your LinkedIn key things in your profile. You opportunities you. So I'll give you an for my LinkedIn profile used to read inspired by it. But LinkedIn visibility, my 2020 goal is to help 500 African career women build thought leadership on LinkedIn. The game changed instantly. People were always sending me DMs. People were connecting with me. People were, liking my articles. People were inviting me for speaking opportunities. In fact, this LinkedIn headline got me invited to a top IT conference this year, right? The fact that I mentioned my goal. Now, what makes this very different is I've sat down to think, the people that need me, what are they looking for? How do I prove to them in a matter of seconds that I'm the person that can solve their problem, right? Saying my job title doesn't help them, but saying what that job title does on a day-to-day basis, i.e. LinkedIn visibility career coach, helping you to build thought leadership, right? Those are the things that people I'm trying to attract are looking for. So the mistake a lot of us make is that we use our positions, we think it's enough. Your LinkedIn headline needs to dazzle. I use this example all the time because it's the best one I can think of, right? It's like buying a house in Banana Island. If you buy a house in Banana Island, you don't build bungalow. You don't build just a boys' quarters and fence it. No, you build skyscraper. The ones where they are bringing the marble from Italy. That is what you build in Banana Island. It's the same thing as LinkedIn. You have limited space, so you need to use it optimally. So let me ask you a question. Who would you call to deliver a talk on sales or marketing? Somebody that says, if you had just one opportunity, somebody that says VP product development and marketing at Bolt, or someone that says VP product development Bolt, growth specialist, I help African startups get their first 100,000 customers. So tell me, who would you invite for a speaking opportunity? Which of these people would you invite? I don't have to look. Of course, it's the second person. And what makes this different? That person has sat down to think, okay, I'm a product developer and I'm also a marketer. But what is the problem that I solve? What I do is I help startups grow by getting them customers. What is the depth of my experience, which is what I was saying before. So it's not just, oh, I led a team of 5 people. What is the results, right? And I've helped people get 100,000 customers. If you are bringing a product to market, you want that person. Okay, the next mistake is using buzzwords instead of keywords. Passionate, skilled, enthusiast, hardworking, strategic, amiable, consummate. Trust me, if somebody is looking for a speaker, someone to come and speak on something in digital technology, they will not type in any of these words into LinkedIn. Now, doesn't mean you shouldn't use these words at all. Of course, you can use them, but use them sparingly, right? So, and don't use them in key places. So writing on your LinkedIn headline, for example, passionate HR employee. It's not registered annually, right? So, and why is this important? Everything, skills. So who do I want to help? The people I serve. What keywords would they be using to find me? So it's like somebody who is an event planner, right? She is the founder of 1234 events. And on LinkedIn, she just writes 1234 events, right? Founder 1234 events. Meanwhile, somebody is looking for someone who can supply chair. They're looking for someone who can bring in caterers. So when they're looking, they're not looking for 1234, right? They are looking for cake vendor. They're looking for, do you understand what I'm saying? They're looking for event manager. Those are the things they're looking for. So you need to sit down and think about what are your skills? What do you really deliver? And make sure that that is featured on LinkedIn. The next one, and this is the final one we'll take on this particular section, is your visibility settings are off. I mean, a lot of people, their surname on LinkedIn, they'll be Glory E. You can't see their surname. I'm like, how will anybody find you? They're like, oh, I want to be private. I'm like, I don't understand. This is not a dating platform. People are looking for real professionals who can solve problems on LinkedIn. CEOs are here, and you are hiding your surname, you are hiding your picture, right? You are just getting lost in the noise, right? LinkedIn profiles with photos get 21 times more views and 36 times more messages, right? And you get found by executive searchers and recruiters. Also, it can help you get discoverable on LinkedIn, on Google as well. So how do you solve these mistakes? Very simple. Complete your profile, change your visibility settings to make sure that you're visible. Get clarity around your speaker brand, your professional brand. What do you want to be known for? What are the key topics that you want to be known for? Undertake an audit, right? Research your peers, the people who are doing jobs that you would like to do. What does their LinkedIn profile look like? What do their bios look like? What keyword and power phrases are they using? And make sure that you use that on your profile. Don't lie, but edit it to suit your own expertise and experience. Focus on the problems you solve. Motivation is great, right? So imagine if FD just said, invite you to speak for gold and just said, speak, go forward to the world and speak. No, he's teaching you about authenticity, teaching you about flow. Focus on the problems you want to solve. And obviously get high-level recommendations and endorsements as well on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's move along. The biggest mistake of all, in fact, if you forget everything I've said today, if you're like, okay, Glory, in fact, I can't even remember anything you said, remember this one thing. Use your LinkedIn as a resource, not a resume. So I forgot, I'm going to put a slide here to show you. Today I had a really, really hectic day. I've been coaching all morning, coaching all day. I had to now quickly go to Ebano to do my monthly shop, all of that. Somebody gives fix, so many things. I got on LinkedIn today, I had 14 messages. That's a resource. While I'm out shopping, while I'm cleaning my house, opportunities are coming to meet me. 14 messages, right? Make your LinkedIn a resource. Your resume is already digital. You can email your resume to anybody, but your LinkedIn should be a resource. It should be opening doors for you. Opening doors for you. That's what your LinkedIn should be. So how do you make your LinkedIn, take your LinkedIn from being a resume to a resource? Make sure, first of all, you are building a relevant, powerful, international, global network, and then you are demonstrating credibility through building thought leadership. And that's what we're going to go to now. So stay with me. Now, I want you after this session to be able to perform a LinkedIn audit on your profile. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that. How to measure your visibility on LinkedIn, right? 5 things you can check. Do you appear on relevant searches for your topic? So ask your friend to go on their LinkedIn profile, the things you want to be known for, maybe digital technology, digital marketing, whatever. Ask them to search for these things on LinkedIn. Do you come up on the first 4 pages of the search results? If you don't, you know that, okay, work needs to be done on your profile, right? Profile views, who is viewing your profile? Are they people you want to attract, right? Then your LinkedIn, the people that LinkedIn is recommending to you to connect with, right? Does it reflect your network aspirations? What is the acceptance rate of your connection requests? Who is reading and engaging with your articles? So by the time you start to look at some of these things, you can start to gauge your visibility quota, right, on LinkedIn. Okay, so networking on LinkedIn. My number 1 tip for networking, LinkedIn, whether it's LinkedIn, wherever, let your LinkedIn network reflect your aspirations, right? Whatever you are trying to become, let your network reflect your aspirations. Now, I'm on LinkedIn, right? So my aspirations is, so my business goals, obviously, I need to get clients, get money, right? So I have business goals, I have financial numbers. So that means my business goals are linked to my LinkedIn goals, right? So I'm on LinkedIn to find clients, consulting opportunities, paid speaking opportunities, and paid training opportunities. Who can offer me these opportunities? I sat down to think. HR leaders, mid to senior level executives who want to book me for coaching, decision makers who can sign the check without having to go through too many approval processes, and corporate leaders, local and international experts in my field for international opportunities, conference conveners because for my speaking opportunities. I am intentional about attracting and communicating with these people in my network. One day I sat down and I said, who are the people that work for LinkedIn Africa? I want to connect with them. I started sending out connection requests. The other day I sat down, I said, I want to connect with all the comms experts in major financial institutions in Nigeria. I sat down, I started connecting with them because these are the people that when they know about me, they're looking for somebody to market their brand, they will call me. Recently, I did something with Jobberman on the strength of what I've been sharing about LinkedIn, right? Now, why this process is really, really useful is that at first you start out seeking these people out. You're the one sending connection requests. After a while, they now start to seek you. So remember I said I'm on LinkedIn to find HR experts and senior executives. Now, this is somebody who is a senior talent acquisition specialist for a major bank in South Africa. She sent me a message. Hi, Glory, I like your profile and what you do. I'd like to connect. This is an executive affairs director, excuse me, for government relations for a major company as well in Nigeria. He sent me a connection request. Now, if you send me a connection request and you're somebody I would like to connect with, but I don't know, I always like to start off the conversation. So I sent him a message, thank you for sending me a connection request. It's great to connect with you. Let me know how I can ever be of value. And so he replied and he said, you're welcome, Glory. I'm expanding my network. I'm building more social capital. Thank you for accepting my request. I love your focus on women empowerment. Could we find a way to collaborate in March 2020? Best wishes for the season. This was in December of 2019, right? So you can see in December of 2019, 3 months before, I was already getting potential speaking opportunities. This is the magic of LinkedIn when you are intentional about it. This is the gold when you mine intentionally. So why should you bother? Why should you bother? LinkedIn algorithms seems to preference your first level connections. Now, this is very, very important. A lot of times, right? Because if you're on LinkedIn and you want to create content, if you are creating content, but the people you've connected with, maybe, for example, you studied mass communication, right? So most of the people on your LinkedIn profile are people you went to university with and things like that. But now you've transitioned and you're in HR and you are sharing HR articles. You will just be seeing things like, nice one, well done. You won't be seeing real engagement. Why? Because your connections are not interested in the articles you are creating. So you must make sure that the people you are seeking to connect with and the content you are trying to write, there is synergy. So take a look at your LinkedIn network tonight. Does that network reflect your speaking aspirations? Can they help you achieve your speaking and professional goals? How aware are they that you're even part of their network and the value that you bring, right? So these are some ways that you can audit your LinkedIn network. Now we're coming to the end. How do I build professional credibility and remain top of mind with decision makers and conference organizers and those that can offer me paid speaking opportunities on LinkedIn, right? How do I do that? Now, to answer that question, it's the same way top influencers dominate on Instagram. What they do is they share relevant content in areas of their expertise. It's so important I stress this, in areas of their expertise, because so many times, like, you will not see Tiwa Savage now sharing about LinkedIn. Even though she knows, maybe she thinks that LinkedIn is great, she will not necessarily share about it because it's not her area of expertise. The same way it's very unlikely you will see me singing on Instagram because that's not what I want to be known for, unless obviously it's as a joke or something like that, right? So what type of content should you create? So here are 4 examples. Content that represents the professional brand that you want to project. So I'm on LinkedIn, and the brand, what I want to do is I want to be known as a visibility expert, a personal branding strategist. So I'm constantly creating content around those areas. I'm constantly creating content around thought leadership as well, because I want to help people brand their thought leadership. I want to help people project and make visible their thought leadership brand. So I even did a thought leadership summit and everything on LinkedIn. Content that demonstrates your competency, expertise, and knowledge. Now, this is very important. Recently, I think it was cohort 2 or 1, I can't remember. I had a complimentary call with somebody from the Speak for Gold group And I went on his LinkedIn profile. I was looking at his content, and he had like content about entrepreneurship, determination, all of that and everything. So when we were now talking, I was not asking him, I was like, okay, so what do you really want to be known for? And he's like, oh, I wrote this book. This book is, it's about how people can get scholarships abroad. I'm actually in Canada at the moment. And, I'm about to do my PhD, and it's a fully funded scholarship. So I'm just writing this book about how people can get scholarships abroad. So I was like, why are you writing about entrepreneurship? He's like, well, people just know him for book. So he wants to vary his brand. I'm like, this is gold. This is gold. When people want to do professional qualifications, they want to travel and things like that, and you know how to get scholarships, this is what you should be talking about on LinkedIn. So make sure it is content that demonstrates your competency, expertise, and knowledge. Content that is relevant and topical, right? So people talking about all subsidy removal, financial management, industry impacts of COVID-19. Content that adds value to my audience. I always tell people, when you're creating content on LinkedIn, it's not, oh, the site you publish on LinkedIn, Glory site you publish on LinkedIn. So let me just quickly write these five things. No, think about it. Who am I creating this content for? What do I want them to take away? How is this helpful for them, right? What value does this give them? You must think about that for your content to be engaging. Now we're wrapping up. I just want to go through really quickly content mistakes you are making on LinkedIn. The first is not publishing content at all. If you are not publishing content at all, you are not entered the room. You are not even in the building. So please start publishing content. But when you start publishing content, please don't stick to only motivational and inspirational content. The truth about it is that motivational and inspirational content gets a lot of likes and views and things. In fact, recently I posted a motivational content. I think that article has ridiculous amount of views, like 2,000 views, and I say 2,000, 20-something thousand views or something like that. I can't remember. There was another one I have that has almost 500,000 views. Very, very popular content. However, all you will just be doing is you will just be getting likes. It doesn't really bring in too much value, right? You also want to make sure that you are creating content that reflects your brand and core competency, right? Content that is relevant to those who you want to attract. So if you want, it's simple mathematics, simple logic. You want to attract people who are C-level influencers in a particular space. Don't be writing content or sharing content that only young professionals will find useful, okay? Not tracking the insights behind your content. I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit. It's very important. A lot of times people just look at likes and things like that. Sometimes likes is not, it doesn't reflect anything beyond what it is that people liked your post, okay? So I'm going to show you the real things you should be looking at. Now, this is some of my successful content on LinkedIn. So you can see this one has 23,000 views, over 1,000 likes. This one was the one I was speaking to you about that has almost 500,000 views and 19,000 likes, over 1,000 comments. You can see I've trended on LinkedIn under career advice, thought leadership, networking. Now, this is all amazing. However, the real thing is the insights behind the post. So you can see one of these posts, 121 people from Access Bank reviewed my post. First Bank, Zenith Bank. Then here, very important. I told you I'm on LinkedIn to find what? Executive directors, human resource specialists. 728 executive directors viewed my post. 579 human resource specialists viewed my post. This is what I'm looking for. If I come here and I see graduates, I know that that post was not relevant to who I am trying to attract. So this is how you track the insight behind your post, and you begin to create content that is relevant for the people you are trying to attract. So content ideas for LinkedIn. What are your interests in your sector? What are the topical issues? What projects or people can you feature? What are some of the lessons you've learned from executing different projects in your sector? And what are some quotes, things that you can share in your sector, right? Now, why is content king on LinkedIn? Why am I really stressing this? This year alone, I've tripled the revenue of my coaching practice. I've been featured on international podcasts. I've connected with global LinkedIn thought leaders, and that has led to several collaborations. I was also nominated for an African LinkedIn Thought Leadership Award in the same category as Sam Adeyemi and Larry Olushola. Of course, I didn't win. Of course, I didn't win. I didn't even bother. I just told a few people. People were like, Glory, you should canvas for votes. I said, with Sam Adeyemi, it's just an honor to be nominated, right? Now, how did I achieve all these things? Through content. through content. Content is king. It is what brings you visibility. It's what gets you known as a thought leader on LinkedIn. So if you want to become a well-known speaker, if you want to become somebody that is a thought leader, people are inviting you for speaking engagements, people are asking your opinion, and you're building influence and relevance, and you're building a great network on LinkedIn, prioritize your LinkedIn content strategy. Very, very important. Okay. So let's summarize what we've learned today. We've come to the end. LinkedIn is the largest professional network in the world, and it can help you achieve your career goals quicker than you doing it on your own, because you can make your LinkedIn profile go beyond just being a digital CV holder to a resource, right? And then LinkedIn visibility, it's about building professional credibility. It's about showcasing your value. Let your LinkedIn network reflect your career goals, and then make sure you are creating content on LinkedIn.